actually a pretty cool truck. Going around the corner, going around the corner, 2 hands on the wheel, here we go. First off, give me a follow at Gas Powered Junk on Instagram. Second, we are doing a giveaway with a 2003 Ford Lightning that comes with a matching 2002 Dyna FXDX. So if you want to get entered to win this setup in front of me right here, all you have to do is head to my website, gaspoweredjunk.com, purchase anything you want, and you're automatically entered to win a Ford Lightning and a Dyna FXDX. Without further ado, let's get started. Honestly, I really like this truck, like a lot more than I thought I would initially. It's just such a fun truck, and it's like the perfect daily driver because it's comfortable, it's easy to drive because it's a regular cab short bed, so it has like the maneuverability of a car. It's funny because like every time you drive this truck, you're like itched with the temptation to just burn the tires off because it's so easy, especially with a few bolt-on parts, and these things make a little over 400 horsepower pretty easily. The inside of this truck is surprisingly roomy for it being a regular cab. I really like the seats. They're super comfortable, sort of like the suede material. As you can see, SVT is stitched into both of the seats. Cup holder in the center console. Another pull out or push cup holder right here. Pretty identical to your standard F-150 aside from the seats, the steering wheel, and the gauge cluster. Really cheap plastic dashboard. Door panels are super plasticky, but you know what? Who gives a shit? Second generation Lightning is an example of inbreeding done right. Ford took their standard F-150 and gave it some drugs. Probably meth. If you think back to like the early 2000s, it's actually pretty crazy that this truck is as fast as the 99 to 01 Cobra. And it was actually the fastest production pickup truck in the world. And it really kind of paved the way of sport pickup trucks that we all know today. Because, you know, GM was a little jealous, so they came out with the Silverado SS in 2003. And Dodge was even so jealous that they were like, I think we got to put the Viper engine in a pickup truck. But from what a lot of people say, the Lightning is still the one to have. And I can kind of see why. This generation F-150 really isn't the most attractive truck that Ford has ever produced, but I gotta say, they did a good job making this truck, the Lightning, not look like a piece of garbage. So this generation F-150 is known as the bubble F-150, and they kind of suck. But the F-150 Lightning is the exception of the bubble F-150. It is the only one that is good because Ford decided to put a supercharged 5.4 liter V8 in this truck, and it makes it very fun to drive. Woo, that was pretty good. Can you just take the turn? All Ford Lightnings came with a step side bed, 295mm tires all the way around, disc brakes in the rear, and the icing on the cake, it's even got side pipes, kid. It comes equipped with a supercharged 5.4 liter Triton V8. And the interesting thing, the later model 2003, 2004 trucks actually received a 20 horsepower bump from 360 horsepower to about 380 horsepower. just a root style blower. The later models actually have Ford SVT stamped on the blower, which I think is pretty cool. So this truck does 0 to 60 in about 5.2 seconds, and with a top speed of 145 miles an hour in a school zone. I don't know why you would want to go that fast in a pickup truck. I most certainly would never do that. Some other characteristics of the late model trucks. This one has the horizontal style kidney grills, and the first ones that came out actually have honeycomb grills. I think the horizontal grills look a lot better. If we go to the back side of the truck, I want to show you guys something. These are factory taillights. So it all started with the first generation Ford Lightning that came out in 1993 to compete with GM's 454 SS. Ford knew the 454 SS was stupid and they could do better. And they did. And you know what they did? They took their F-150, they put a nice small block Ford in it, and boom, you have the F-150 Lightning. Unlike the first generation Ford Lightning, the second generation actually came in a pretty decent variety of colors. You know, the first generation, you could only get that truck in red, white, or black, but this one is actually bright red. That is what it's called because it's bright red. But you could also get these trucks in silver, black, white, a couple different blues. There's true blue and sonic blue. I think that's the rarest color. And then they also did a dark gray, which I think is kind of neat. As far as the driving experience goes, it drives exactly like how you would expect a 20-year-old pickup truck to drive. The F-150 Lightning was designed for comfort cruising and straight line performance. It was never a truck designed to go around corners. And if you do, I recommend you wear a helmet. We all really wish that Ford brought back the Lightning as a gas-powered vehicle for the third generation. I almost feel bad for the suckers that bought the all-electric Ford Lightning, especially if you were naive enough to pay MSRP for one of those trucks. You know what I mean? If you bought the all-electric Ford Lightning and you actually like that truck, you're an idiot. And I'm sorry, it is very rude for me to say this. I kind of look at the Ford Lightning, it's almost like an honest working man's truck. Especially with the first generation and second generation, the people that bought these trucks were like die-hard muscle truck enthusiasts because they wanted a sport truck. And in my eyes, it's an honest disgrace that Ford brought back the third generation Lightning as an all-electric vehicle. While the branding is extremely smart, it was a horrible financial mistake for Ford. So this generation Ford Lightning has the 2-valve 5.4 liter Triton, and it's a super reliable engine. Not to be confused with the 3-valve Triton that's in some of the later model F-150s. They can pretty much handle whatever abuse you want to put towards these trucks, especially if you keep it stock or just bolt on. The 4-speed automatic transmission in this truck, also known as the 4R100, it is a very confused transmission. Oftentimes, it has no idea what gear it should be in. It is a very angry transmission. I would even say that it has an attitude problem. But that's okay, because it's a pickup truck. This Ford Lightning is modified, and I call it the suspicious vehicle package. Not only is it red, but it has black tint and black wheels. We're rocking SVT powder-coated 5-spoke wheels. It's also dropped on a Belltech 2.3 drop, Stifler's traction bars. And I want to say this truck makes a little over 400 horsepower to the tires through some minor bolt-on parts. It just has a set of JBA shorty headers with a Magnaflow Street Series exhaust and some smaller supercharger pulleys. I think it's pretty crazy how expensive these trucks are. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing because, you know, they're pretty uncommon in the sense that you don't see them that often, but I think Ford made a little over 28,000 of these second-gen Ford Lightnings, so they're not like the most rare vehicle. And it's really interesting that even horrible examples of these trucks go for over $10,000, with the top tier examples selling for well over $30,000. So to get yourself, you know, something in the middle is at least going to cost you about 20 grand. I really do think the design of this truck is timeless. And despite the cheap plastic interior and kind of round, bubbly shape that it has to it, it's actually a pretty cool truck. I think the Lightning kind of stands out as peak early 2000s sport truck.